My belief is that reading is thinking. If you can read a text but don't attach meaning, it's really not reading at all. One of the instructional practices that tells me the most is a running record. Sitting and listening one-on-one to a child read and listening for what they're doing and what kind of things they're doing well and what kind of errors they're making is so telling. Some questions to guide students when they're reading is, does that look right? Does it sound right? And does it make sense? And try it. See if it works in the sentence. It's very important to analyze errors to see where meaning breaks down. Children who read very quickly, perhaps self-taught readers, or some who are word callers, need to slow down and think. Does that make sense? What did I just read? One of the theories or lenses that I like to apply when I'm thinking about teaching reading is the constructivist theory, or more specifically, the psycholinguistic theory. Goodman, 1967, believes that reading is primarily a language process, and readers rely on language cueing systems to help them read. Readers generally use three types of cueing to predict words. They use syntactic, which is the grammatical structure of the sentence or the words in the sentence. Semantic, using the meaning. Does that make sense in a sentence or in the story as a whole? And graphophonic, using the patterns of letters and sounds. Do those fit together? Does that look like a word that you know? The new lenses that I'm going to use now that I've spent time in this class is metacognition. Metacognition is teaching readers how to think about their thinking, how to notice things, how to problem solve. There's nothing sadder when a child looks up at you and appeals for a word. What is this word? I have no idea what to do here. Thinking about teaching them to think about their thinking and what should I do? Let's use some strategies. Let's think about, does that make sense? What is the author saying in this story? What's going on inside my head and how can I figure this out? Another lens I will now apply after taking this course is structuralism. Applying this lens for errors that are more difficult to analyze. For example, if a student consistently makes visual errors, there's a lot to think about there. They should be first looking at that first letter. They know the letters and sounds, then they should look and see, does that look like a letter for the first word that I'm looking for, that I'm searching for, a letter for a word I know? Does it make sense in the story? Sometimes if a child makes visual errors, there might be something else going on. And that's what structuralism can help us with. Perhaps there's a print perception or a processing issue. Looking through new lenses is so helpful to us as a teacher, because only looking through one lens can only narrow our view and make it more difficult for us to solve problems and to help readers solve their own problems. Ultimately, we want children to love to read. Children love to read. Partly, that will happen because they're successful at it. And when a child is successful at thinking about their thinking and solving their problems and pouring themselves into a story, we're going to create readers who love to read.